Good Monday morning, my friends. I hope you have been having a fantastic kickoff to the summer. I am back live, as you can tell. I'm very excited to be back live. Last week was a fantastic week for me to kind of get things in perspective and plan things forward. I had my kids off at camp, and it gave me some time to sit down and look at where I wanted to go, what I wanted to do over the next little while, which is fantastic. Now, don't worry, anytime I have some time planned off, I will have my videos recorded so you guys still get the guidance and the support that you want and need. Okay, so today, kicking off my lives again for the summer, I'm looking at the full buck moon. On Wednesday, and what date would Wednesday be? Wednesday's the 13th. Already. Oh my gosh. So crazy. We are getting into the middle of July already. We just got into summer. Let's slow it down. So Wednesday, the full buck moon is going to be high in the sky. Now, because it is the full moon and it has that intense power, we're able to embrace it a couple of days before and a couple of days after. So today we're going to embrace that full buck moon, and we can start to use it to our advantage. For this reading, I have chosen a deck that was created by a lady up in Edmonton area, so it's not too far from where I'm located in Calgary. This is the Northern Animal Tarot. I love this deck. This was a Kickstarter a year and a half ago, maybe a year ago. Not too sure. I do have an unboxing of this deck when I got it. So whenever that was posted, that's when I got this deck. But I love this deck. I don't know if it'll come in camera or not, but this has a linen feel to it. Like the cards have a little bit of a texture to it. It's not coming in well. Maybe it might come in on the back. But I absolutely love the fact that it has this texture. It feels really nice to handle. So I have the Northern Animal Tarot. As we're looking at the full buck moon, I'm pretty darn sure there are deer in this. So we're going to be looking at that full buck moon. You might as well use some cards that have the deer. And then I am pairing it. This is a deck I've had for eons and eons. This is the Druid Animal Oracle. We're working with animals, you might as well go all the way, right? Now the full buck moon, just like you would think, the bucks, the male deer, are starting to get their antlers, and their antlers have that little fuzzy velvet. I'm sure it has a name. I don't know what it's called. But they're starting to, push and try and rub the velvet off to hone their skills, that new set of antlers, because they want to be the end-all be-all deer in the area, so they get all the does. This is the time that we're starting to look at those skills, look at what we have, what's coming forward, and starting to plan ahead. This is exactly what we're going to be doing in this reading. We're going to be looking at how that full buck moon energy is going to help us to hone our skills. So let's get into this. What can my friends expect from the full buck moon? So if this is a deck that speaks to you, this as I'm working with it, I should let you know that the lady just did a second edition. So that tells you it's been at least a year or so of her deck here. I don't know if the Kickstarter is still going. I had talked about it earlier in this year because I had seen that her, because I've supported her, it flashes up on my inbox. She has a second edition. It's a beautiful deck. I love it. Like I said, I love the texture of the deck. And this is obviously the Two of Swords. Now, this is either a raven or a crow. I do not know the difference. I know there is a difference, so please don't get mad at me in the comment box. If you know the difference, I'd love to know. But I know they're both very intelligent birds, and they're both messengers. So the swords, we're talking about knowledge. The two of swords, lots of decisions. So this week, it is pretty much a calendar week, but throughout the full buck moon, we're going to be looking at some decisions that need to be made. Those decisions are going to impact us as we go forward, as this is the full buck moon. The full buck moon starts that preparation for the fall and winter, as that buck is trying to prepare itself to be that end-all be-all buck. The Five of Cups. Like I said, some decisions need to be made. It's up to you whether you continue to focus in on those 3 overturned cups, that heartache, that pain, that frustration, or we start to focus in on those 2 upright cups. The 2 cups that the universe has been saying, here, this is what you need. This is where you need to go. So this time, or throughout the remainder of the week, you're going to find that some reflection and some decision making is going to be needed, because we're not following those 2 upright cups. It's those overturned cups that are really catching our attention. I love this rendition. It makes me happy. I don't know why. The lovers, 2 little otters. What's more, and I love this part, we have the sun reflected in the water. So the lovers, of course, we're looking at that connection. So for my friends who are in a relationship, that relationship is going to support us in helping us to make some decisions, and also realizing which cups we're focusing in on. So if the relationship isn't positive and a balanced relationship, of course, what is it going to do? It's going to remind us we're not focusing in on the right cups. If it is a positive and balanced relationship, it's only going to fuel us to make those decisions that we need to make for our greater good and theirs. The lovers also reminds us that we need that balance within us. These are some pretty hard decisions and reflections. The more balanced and stable we are, the more able we're going to be able to stay up here and think things through, rather than getting caught up in that pain and heartache. Because let's be honest, that pain is very much there. I said there were deer, right? Here we go, look, deer. The 7 of Cups. That uncertainty, that illusion, that kind of feeling of being lost or overwhelmed. This week is going to have lots of opportunities, absolutely. We're going to second guess ourselves. Those what ifs, those could-haves, those should-haves, those would-haves are going to feel overwhelming. They're only going to add to the 5, and they're going to kind of take away from that love, from that connection and unity that the lovers has. And of course, those decisions, they're not going to be based from up here, where we're in control of the thoughts, the feelings, and of course, the connection to our intuition. It's going to be more back in the rudimentary brain, which is all wrapped up in that emotion, which is going to minimize what we receive and what these opportunities bring us. We need to be able to control that fear. Remember, this is the 7. 7s are a lucky number. With work, you will succeed. I like to tell people that the 7 of Cups does not mean, oh, there's a right or a wrong choice. It's a choice. Again, we knew that was coming up. We knew choices were coming. All these choices bring you different learning opportunities. So when we reframe that opposed to what if I choose the wrong one, it's not about choosing the wrong one. It's about what are we going to learn? What are we going to experience now? That reflection and reframing of the card helps us to minimize that what if so we can embrace what is. All right. Let's see what further insight, wisdom, and guidance we can share with my friends so they can get the most out of the full buck moon. So I should say, if you're seeing this live, tonight I'm in Calgary time, which is Mountain Standard Time, Mountain something time, daylight. I can't remember all the different acronyms, but I'm going to be on live on Facebook with a friend of mine. His name's Kevin. He's going to interview me on what it is I do. Pretty excited about it. It's kind of like I think it's called a vlogcast. It's like a podcast, but it's on Facebook Live. So it's going to be interesting. I'm pretty excited about it. So if you're around tonight, make sure that you hang out and check out Facebook Live. I do have a link on my Facebook page, on my Mystic Star Facebook page, which you can see in my description below. All right, let's get back into the full buck moon. This, of course, is happening in the full buck moon because it's tonight, but yeah. The 9 of Pentacles. This week isn't doom and gloom, guys. I know it kind of feels like it because we do have the 5 of Cups and then the 7 of Cups, which are challenging cards. We focus in on that positive. We're going to be able to make better decisions. We're going to be able to build off of what we already have. So that 7 of Cups becomes less ominous and more supportive. The 2 of Cups. Really connecting in to these 2 cups. There's a lot of connection between the 5 and the 2, okay? So when we slow down, okay, cards, stay. We balance things out. We use those positive supports to our advantage. We feel stronger and more able to make the decisions that we need to make, that we want to make. And none of this, guys, is leaps of faith. We're not talking about jumping into something that's going to change everything. Those types of decisions don't go well because that fear, that frustration comes up. Our ego really starts to claw us backwards. When we start to take those slow, steady steps, we've got the 2 here. Left, right, slow, steady. We're able to build off of what we already have that's going right, that's going well, that's prosperous, that brings us abundance and joy. We can build off of it. Now, the 2 of Cups, of course, is connected into the Lovers. The Lovers is a major arcana, which is a bigger life picture, the bigger life aspects. The minor arcana, they're the everyday aspects. This is the loving energy in our everyday. This is taking this from a bigger picture to that everyday aspect, that everyday situation. Focusing in on us, if we have a partner. Now, if we don't have a partner, taking things slow and steady, working on some of this. So we're focusing in on the 2 of Cups rather than the 3 overturned cups. You're going to find that people are attracted to you. Why? Your vibration, that feeling that people get when they're around you, is positive, loving, and a high vibration, rather than one of sadness and fear. There we go. So the more you work on you right now, the more you're going to attract that loving energy. Okay, so this deck, like many others, has a number of cards that are deck specific. This is a pod. Can go that way, can go that way. But it's like a seed. Okay. We are going to find that the more we work on us, the more things are going to grow. The more things are going to flourish. It's not going to be as dark and hidden. Think of this as abilities, skills, and aspects that you can start to see growing. The more you're focused in on those Two of Cups, those positive aspects, those things that are growing right, the more growth you're going to see. Things aren't going to be hidden in the darkness. They're going to come out in the light. And I don't know if that has a name, but I do enjoy it. And usually I take those ones out of this deck. There's, I think, half a dozen of them. And for some reason, I left them in this reading. So we're going to have some tarot and some oracle cards hidden within it. The Three of Pentacles. I love how the two mice are working with the squirrel. So this really does talk about that Triforce Perfecta. Self, working with your physical support system and your spiritual support system. When we work in cooperation, we're going to get more done. And this is true very much this week. The more that we work with those positive supports, the more we're going to be able to overcome that uncertainty, that fear. Additionally, this is our second pentacle that reminds us of that grounded, stable energy. That balance is going to be important. We do have two twos here. In that multiple two, the angels are telling you that it is important to focus in on that duality and balance. And duality is very important. It doesn't matter what gender you identify with. You have both masculine and feminine within you. So making sure they're balanced and working in harmony. Oh, this card just brings me joy. The Fool. I love how the little white dog is now a little, not dandelion, ladybug with shoes. It's awesome. The Zero card in the Major Arcana talks about those new beginnings, that's set for that new adventure. When we make those decisions that we have to make, because it's not, and guys, lack of decision is a decision on itself. So if you're like, I don't want to make a decision, I just can't do this right now, that will be your decision. You're going to remain with focusing on the Three of Cups. However, when you make decisions, you're like, okay, I'm going to take that deep breath. I want to focus in on the Two of Cups. I want to really focus in on that support and that balance, that duality. I want to focus in on what's going right. You're going to start to see that adventure going forward. Things are going to build off of each other. You're making decisions that are in your greatest good, and things start to fall into place. Where we had fear once, you're going to see more of a kind of an understanding and invigoration of self. The universe, your God, goddess, the great creator, whomever it is that you believe is up above us, will start to slide in those supports. Things will start to slide and move faster, be stronger with more abundance. Got that Fool energy. Trust in the adventure, and you will find that more comes out of it. Speaking of some serious antlers, the King of Cups. Now, kings, of course, they're the fully developed persona of that suit. This is the cup. Cups are emotion and intuition. The King of Cups, this is where the young bucks want to be. They want those antlers. They want that very kingly energy, I guess. So the King of Cups reminds us that we need to stay in control of that emotion. When that fear, that uncertainty comes forward, it's going to cloud our ability to make good decisions for our greater good. Fear, frustration, pain, those energies are connected to our ego that helps us stay in our kind of stuck box. When we start to connect into that higher vibration of joy, love, and abundance, we start to attract things. Hence why, my friends who are looking for a relationship, this experience with the full buck moon will support you in attracting those individuals that you need, because they're attracted to your energetical signature, that light within you. The king wants to see that. He wants to see that aha come forward, that stability that comes with emotional regulation. So checking into where you're at, and if you're in a point where you're like, you know what, I feel very anxious, I feel very angry, starting to look at that and go, okay, so that's where I'm at right now. What would help me to be less frustrated, less angry, less anxious? Using the tools, because the Fool, he has this very attractive little man bag here. In that man bag, he's got all the tools, supports, and little inventions that he needs to help us, to help him go forward in his adventure. And that's what we need. We need to use our head. We need to use that inner voice that says, you know what? I know today's going to be hard, so why don't we grab some crystals? Why don't we grab a meditation before we go to work? Why don't we grab some extra cinnamon and put it in our coffee or our tea to help ground us more? Using tools to support us to making the best decision for you. Okay, that's getting cold now. Okay, let's end off on any final guidance and support that we can offer my friends so that they can embrace the most out of the message and guidance that the full buck moon is offering them. I got this deck in the early 2000s when I was in England from a friend in Ireland, and the deck is like ginormous, and I really struggle to shuffle it. That's why I don't have it on my channel very often, because it is so comically big. Like my hand versus, the eagle. The eagle talks about not backing down. He assesses the situation, which we need to do, and then dives for what he needs, for what he wants. We need to have that perseverance, that know-how to look at the situation from above, not from that very up close and personal heartache and pain. We want that outside perspective. There's no emotion. He is hunting, he is searching, and when he finds what he's looking for, he goes for it. So that's what we need. We need that mentality of, okay, this is what I need to do. This is what I have to make that decision. And then I want to go forward. And then having that conviction to do it. The blackbird. Again, we're talking about birds. Birds are connected in with that air energy, that sword energy. We only have one sword in our whole reading, and that's the Two of Swords. The oracle cards, though, are talking more about that air knowledge. The blackbird finds those hidden pieces, finds the berries that they're looking for, has that sense of triumph, because not only does it enjoy the journey, has that beautiful song, it does find those hidden messages, those hidden aspects. We need to have that, I guess, that bird's perspective, looking down at the situation, seeing it for what it is, and those little aspects, they're hidden in plain sight. Not a deer, but in the deer family. Sort of. I know that's not I don't know the arc of it, but they're close related, if we will. Again, we have those horns. They do the same thing that the head butting. I can't imagine what kind of headaches the deer and the rams have with all the head slamming they get. It doesn't matter how perilous and dangerous the situation may be. Trust in your footing. Trust in the universe to support you in getting to where it is you need to go. The ram doesn't question walking on some of these cliffs and high up mountains. It trusts itself. It knows, yeah, I can do that. No problem. We need that same idea. I can do that. Might be a challenge, but I can do it. Ooh, Floofy, the cat. Very much connected into our intuition. Very much connected into that kind of sass. Cats, of course, have been connected in with the divine goddess, with that feminine energy for a very long time. So it has that ability to, again, go to some pretty perilous and scary areas, knowing that it will land on its feet, trusting in itself, trusting in its intuition, and doing it its own way. If you're a cat owner or know of a cat, you know that they are not like dogs, where dogs are like, I want to please you. Cats are like, you can please me when I want you to. And that sass is what we need. We don't want to have that fear, that scary start to come in and overtake us and overwhelm us. What we want is that sass, that fire, to not backing down, to finding those hidden truths, to finding those aspects that are going to help us with this decision, help us to really embrace that light. I want to thank you guys so much for joining me today. I hope that this reading helped you to understand what the full buck moon is offering you and what you can do to get the most out of this guidance and wisdom that this lunar energy is going to bring. Now, if you did like this reading, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And more importantly for you, please don't forget to subscribe. I've got more guidance, I've got more tools, and of course, I've got more teachings coming forward. The best way to stay connected, of course, is through subscribing and hitting that little red bell so you don't miss a video. Again, I want to thank you guys so very much for joining me today. Until tomorrow, my friends.